myth busting.
Yes, we have several ones that we've talked about that will be coming up that we need to do a part 2 sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Well, today this one's going to be fun because we are talking about holiday season.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I guess it just turned cold today. It finally feels like fall.
Yeah, and it's kind of got that overcast feel outside where it's cloudy. It feels kind of like it's finally getting the turn where you can get the hot drinks out and the warmer soups ready. And now that it's almost the end of November, almost December, we're finally in fall.
That's right. This is very Mississippian.
Right.
But, a lot of things happen during the holidays. Unfortunately, a lot of it was good, but unfortunately for most Americans, our health and our weight and our nutrition do not turn well.
Right.
And so we want to do an episode today mainly focusing on surviving the holidays.
Right.
All right. So, Savannah, let's start with that. I guess on average, what happened? Obviously, the food content, that's just where it is.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people have a mindset of just getting through the holidays and they're going to start over fresh in like January as their New Year's resolution.
Yep.
And they just kind of feel like, this month's I'm already got a lot going on, or I have Thanksgiving meals planned. And so there's no reason to start something new now when, realistically, Thanksgiving and Christmas meals, that's only one day out of the whole month.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that, but you can really stick to your goals and continue to propel yourself in the right direction, even during the month of November and December. You don't have to feel like an all or nothing approach to that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think this is what I hear most of the patients, because often we'll have a patient come in and we'll talk about their lifestyle and nutrition. It'll be like, October 25th, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just start in January. I'm like, why are we waiting months, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's Christmas and New Year's. And we're like, those are only like 2 days.
Right.
And maybe a little bit more, because a lot of people have a lot of family or extended family. So they might go to like 3 or 4 different meals. But again, those are only just a couple of days out of
the
like
whole
90.
Month. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, and again, whether your fitness goals are to lose weight or maintain your biometrics or blood sugar control, whatever your goals may be, again, you can still stay on track the rest of the month and enjoy your holidays, enjoy your time with your family, and account for meals and events and parties and festivities. So you can account for all of those things.
Yeah. Well, okay. So as we start this, there's a couple of statistics I found that were really interesting. I think they said on average, Thanksgiving dinner, the average American eats between 3,000 to 5,000 calories.
Yes.
Which is just insane amounts
of
food.
In one meal. Yeah. I actually read that too. And you think about how, especially us being in the South, how we cook our food and what we put in it. And we do casseroles, right?
Yeah.
We are all about the casseroles. We do sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, and sweet potato casserole, we have to have the marshmallows and brown sugar and all of that on top of it. So it winds up adding so many extra grams of sugar or fat. And so it just winds up being a really, really heavy meal. And most of the time, some people, they try and gear up for that meal, especially on like Thanksgiving Day, and they don't eat breakfast, and they're like, oh, I'm going to skip breakfast just because I know I'm going to have a heavy meal later, but they get really, really hungry anticipating that meal, so they overeat.
Yeah.
And so again, some people might eat closer to 5,000 calories in that one meal.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. And I did also see like the average weight gain between Christmas and New Year's is about 2 to 3 pounds.
Oh,
for the average
really?
American. Yeah. And that's the one that stays.
Okay.
Which is so interesting, because you're right. A lot of people are like, well, over the past 20 years, well, you might not, first of all, you don't think 2 or 3 is a lot, but in 10 years, it's like, wow, I've gained 20, 25 pounds. And it could all be because of the holiday season.
Extra sweets during the holidays.
Yeah. So, well, Savannah, so obviously I think a couple of the maybe things that affect people during this time is the traveling, right? They're out of their routine, right?
Yeah.
They're flying, they're driving places. So usually they maybe have a good routine, but now they're out of it because of the holiday season. Is there anything that you would suggest to help them kind of get that?
Yeah, of course, staying on track as much as possible with your routine up until the traveling day, and accounting for, like, most people have a plan to travel, right? They know exactly what days they're traveling. They know exactly, okay, I'm going to this in-laws on this day. I have to drive, this many hours on this day. So most of the time people tend to just grab something easy, or whether that's like fast food, a lot of gas station foods on the way to that Thanksgiving or Christmas meal. So just planning ahead, maybe whenever you can bring snacks from home, have healthier snacks on hand as opposed to stopping at the gas station buying chips and a Coke, right? So just little things like that. And also, again, accounting for that, staying active during that time. So sticking with if you're exercising and have an exercise routine, try and continue that exercise routine all throughout the month. I know traveling kind of throws that out of whack sometimes. So if you're not in your normal space, you can still do other things during the day, go for a walk, enjoy family time, be active outside of your normal routine.
Yeah. And again, like you said, it's one of those things. So essentially what you're telling me as far as food is think about the 90s, right? Like when we used to travel and I think my mom would like pack snacks and stuff like that. And again, I guess there wasn't so many gas stations and fast food places when we were growing up. So you just eat whatever your parents bring. That is a good strategy because again, most of the time, if you stop by a gas station, if you have kids, they want the Cheetos. They want the, all the trash food and all the trash drinks and stuff like that.
Now, some of the fancier gas stations have healthy-ish options.
That's right.
And again, some of the fast food places have healthier options, but it's still not healthy and still going to be higher calories, still going to be higher fat and a lot of salt in those foods. So accounting for that and maybe bringing things from home would probably help too.
That's awesome. Well, and again, so we've talked about that. And of course with exercise, what I like is, the moment you get back home, you can jump right back into it, right?
Yes.
So it's not like it's after Thanksgiving, you have to take off a week of exercising, right?
No.
You can jump right back in.
And it's probably going to make you feel better too to stick to your routine. A lot of people just feel really sluggish because of all the extra added calories during the holidays. They just feel kind of extra tired and the time has changed. So the sun isn't out as long. It gets dark really quick. So we just kind of get a little in the slumps and when it gets a little colder too. Right. So yes, stay on track. You can do, things at home. If you're traveling, you could do things, body weight exercises, again, activities with your family, your kids, just staying active all throughout that. You don't necessarily have to go to your gym membership, to stay active during that time.
Awesome. Okay. Well, and so Savannah, what other tips do you have for us as far as maybe the eating time and the food stuff?
Yeah. So I think overall, just having a realistic expectation of the holiday season and what your schedule is going to look like and what you have planned, and expect that you're going to be having a little bit extra sweets and treats and things, because that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you go for your Thanksgiving meal, for example, or Christmas meal, try not to skip meals in preparation for that meal, because again, you may feel overly hungry when you get to that meal and you might overeat. So eat as you normally would, eat at breakfast, very nutrient dense ahead of time. That way you don't feel like you're going to overeat at that meal. Also, remember appropriate portion control too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we'll go into a meal and we'll, for some reason at Thanksgiving, portions don't matter, right?
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too. I'll look at my plate and I'll have things on my plate that I don't even like. It's not my favorite, but I just put it on my plate just because it's there, right? Yeah. So typically we have green bean casserole, corn casserole with, the Jiffy cornbread mixed in. My goodness, we have sweet potato casserole, we have turkey, we have ham, we have mashed potatoes with gravy, we have all the things. So instead of getting a little bit of everything, pick your favorites. Pick a couple of your favorites, like, I know my favorite is going to be that sweet potato casserole. I love that, and I love dressing. So I know those are going to be the ones that I want to, eat for my meal. Now I could kind of pass on the regular mashed potatoes and gravy, and the green bean casserole, I could take it or leave it. But so pick your favorites and enjoy your meal, but don't try not to go overboard.
Yeah.
Same with the sweet treats too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to just say, it's because that one, of course, food, that's a good one, because a lot of times we'll just, you don't want to hurt an aunt and uncle's feeling,
exactly.
So you just get their food and you're like, this is really not my favorite. But if you eat less of that, you can have more of the other things. Right.
More of your favorites. Right?
Yeah.
So. And you think about, I know this is a case for several of our family gatherings, is there will be a whole array, a whole variety of different sweet treats. There will be like 4 different pies. There'll be a banana pudding in there. There'll be, sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie, a pecan pie, all the things, all the pies.
All the things, yeah.
And so pick your favorite, and you don't feel obligated to, just because somebody brought something, don't feel, even though it's not your favorite, don't feel obligated that you have to have a bite of it. Have the ones that you like and have a piece of it and enjoy it and move on past that. Don't harbor over it and don't feel guilty about it. Just, move on and again, the next day, start over. It's a new day, right?
That's right. And that's a good one because, dessert is, there's so many desserts. And, they're all on, you only get it this time of the year. But, we just don't need to go crazy with it. Right. And, a slice here and there is never going to bother you.
No, yeah.
But you're right. Sometimes it's Egg Bowl season, right? It's football. You're sitting there just grazing, which maybe we'll bring that up too.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you've eaten half the pie.
Right.
And the pie is like 5,000 calories, which is that pecan pie from Cracker Barrel, which is delicious.
So good.
But it will literally destroy.
Yeah, so good.
You.
I think of that, I think one slice is close to 500 or 300, between 350 and 500 calories. One slice of pecan pie. So again, grazing is a big thing too, because you think about if you're cooking or you're helping cook or you're getting ready, you're anticipating that meal and you're visiting with family and you're chit-chatting, there might be a bowl of chocolate covered pretzel, just little things that you can grab and munch on, and before you know it, you've had several different handfuls and you're just talking. That's not going to fill you up, and you're not accounting for that either. So try to avoid grazing as much as possible while you're visiting with family.
Yeah. You hear people say mindful eating, right? Just being aware that, all the food is there. It's great, but it's very easy to just overeat on those. And again, there are really calorie dense, nutrient low kind of foods. And so, and again, to just remind people, a lot of these highly processed snack foods and stuff like that, there is nothing there's no fiber. There's nothing there to tell your brain
that you're full.
Yeah. So it's very, very easy to hit 300, 400, 500 calories just of snack foods.
Exactly. You can imagine a lot of people, how they mindlessly snacking, sit on the couch watching TV, just, snacking on a bag of chips, and before they know it, they've eaten the whole thing and they're like, where did my chips go?
Yeah.
That's the same thing for grazing during the holidays too. And also, a lot of times, I know this is a case for me, just aside from family gatherings, I'm gifted a lot of sweet things. Like somebody made a pumpkin loaf bread, or somebody makes fudge and gifts it to you, and so you have all these extra sweets just hanging around the house that are very convenient just to go grab and take a bite of, and you wind up going and having 3 pieces here, 3 pieces there, and it adds extra fat and calories in your day. Again, if those are your favorite and you want to have your sweet treat every now and then, enjoy it because it's the season. But don't have it sitting out to where it's just kind of like a mindless thing.
Yeah. So that's really helpful, because a lot of times, we want the Thanksgiving day or the Christmas day or the New Year's day just to be the day, and maybe the day after. Right. But
leftovers.
Correct. Right. Leftovers. We don't need it to be like a week long. We gotten 3 boxes of fudge and 2 boxes, and then you're just in your house. And I think most of us, and Michael and I have been doing this foundation weight loss thing. The next series is on the psychology of weight loss.
That's going to be a really good series.
Yeah, because half the time we realize it's everybody always wants to know the root cause. We tell you the root cause, but the execution is the second. Yeah,
exactly.
That's the second part, right?
Right.
And so one thing we want with the people that are successful is their environment, right? So they will realize that if fudge is in the house, I'm going to eat it.
Yes. Yeah. So if it's not there, you're not as tempted to eat it.
You're right.
You're right. And like you said, it's kind of like you do it without even thinking sometimes. Yeah. And a lot of people tell me, I know what to do, but I lack the motivation to do it, or I just have to make the decision to do it. Yeah. So again, it's all intuitive eating, mindfulness. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're exactly right. And so it's one of those, like people have to almost depend on willpower to not eat the certain thing. My thing is, I don't even trust my willpower. Don't even put it in my house, because if it's not there, then I don't have to rely on the willpower to choose every time I pass it.
Right.
And I've heard people say things like, even so, with holidays, office parties. That's another one. People will bring all these food to the office and they'll put it in the break room. And I've had patients like walk a different way to not go by the break room.
So it's not tempting. Yeah. I think for me, one of the biggest things that I struggle with during the holiday season is I love Starbucks coffee.
Oh, yes.
And they have all the flavored coffee, all the holiday coffees right now. And they just, released all the like peppermint mocha flavors. And that's my weakness, I feel like, is it's so tempting to go through. But because I love coffee at my house, but there's something about the holiday drink that just makes it special.
Yeah.
So I have to reserve myself and save those holiday drinks. Now, I still will have them occasionally, but I'll save it for like a special occasion. Like if I'm going to go look at Christmas lights with my family, or we have a holiday, going to pick it out a Christmas tree or anything like that, and I wanted something special for that event, then I'll save that for that. Because I think the peppermint mocha, I looked it up, and a grande, which is just the medium size, is 440 calories, 54 grams of sugar. So just that one drink I compared it actually to crumble cookies because everybody always talks about, one crumble cookie is close to 1,000 calories, which they are. They're like 700 to 800 calories. And actually, that one drink had more grams of sugar than most of the crumble cookies that I looked up today.
Which, isn't that crazy?
And that is wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like the Dunkin' Donuts, like Frappuccino thing. It was the same. It was like 12 donuts of sugar.
That's wild.
And so, again, these are the liquid sugar gets a lot of people.
Yeah, because you don't realize, like sodas, even like the other holiday drinks. You think about the party drinks, the peppermint or ciders that are filled with sugar. Just you have to be very careful and save those for special occasions.
I like that.
And it's real easy to pass a Starbucks on your way to work and feel tempted to every other day, go through there, but try and reserve it for just special occasions.
Yeah. And that's like actually a really good one because, if you only do it on special occasions, it doesn't become an every single day thing. And again, 300 calories, or 500 calories for a drink once every other week is different than every single day.
Exactly. And thankfully, the Starbucks on my way to work has been renovated, so they are shut down right now. So it's not tempting for me.
There we go again. Adjust the environment.
I know, exactly.
I gotcha. Okay. So we talked about, the liquid sugar. We talked about the dessert time. We talked about the food. We talked about changing the environment and keeping the exercise going and routines. Any other tips or tricks that you have?
Yeah, I think it's just about, again, really focusing on having the correct expectation of the holidays and knowing that your fitness goals don't have to halt until the new year, because you probably see it January 1st, the gyms are packed.
Oh my gosh.
Most people just kind of put their life on halt and just try and get through the holidays and until the New Year's, and then they're all ramped up to ready to lose that extra 10 pounds. But again, your fitness goals, they don't have to halt. Also, your biometric goals, like if your blood sugar, just remember, it's really important, especially during the holidays, to take your medication and don't skip your insulin and take it as prescribed. Account for the food that you take. Blood pressure medication. I know you probably see it after the New Year's. People come in and their A1Cs are out the roof high. And it's just because it was just the holiday season.
Oh, girl. Yeah. When we used to work in the hospital, I mean, Christmas Day was empty in there. But the day after Christmas, the amount of heart failure, right? Because everybody's just eating all that salt, or alcohol poisoning, all these things that it's so funny that you can almost predict. You're right. You just have to be aware that if you have chronic diseases, they don't go away.
No.
It's not like Christmas diabetes just decides to stop.
Yeah. And I feel like people just kind of try and ignore those things until like they get over their Thanksgiving meal or their Christmas meal. They're just like, oh, my diabetes can hold on for a day and then I'll get back on it tomorrow. Well, you need to make sure you take your medicine.
Absolutely. Yeah. And too, Savannah, like you said, I mean, you don't have to wait till January 1 to start a new workout program. You can start it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I myself, I love strength training, and I know we've talked about that before, but strength training is great, especially when you're eating higher calorie food and higher carbohydrate food. You're getting the glycogen stores out of your muscles, and you can also put that fuel to work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lifting weights. So I encourage a strength training routine.
Yeah, well, that's yes. We'll second that. I think in this clinic, if they've ever heard our podcast, we constantly emphasize exercise, specifically strength training, because I mean it's just so important. And again, this, I guess I will wrap it up with this way: is the mindset, this all or nothing mindset. It really does affect our health drastically. This idea that if I can't do it 100%, I'm just going to do 0%. Has never made anybody healthier.
Right. It's the little things that add up more than we realize.
Yeah. So adjust the environment, making sure you're just mindful, aware of what you're doing. Don't make a 1-day holiday into like a 2-week holiday.
It's a holiday, not a hollow week.
That's right. Awesome. Well, any other thoughts, Savannah, that you have?
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it. Yeah. Again, stick to your routine and try and just account for those days that you're planning for and enjoy it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And if people want to know more about weight loss, we have the whole foundation series.
Yes. Check it out.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's on our YouTube page. We just finished the science of weight loss. We are shifting to the psychology, which I think, it is the hardest. Everybody knows the root cause. Actually executing, fixing the root cause is
addressing that. Exactly. That's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Thank you.